Hi, everybody. I hope you guys are all doing well. Well, I'm I'm really I'm actually very down. Um, so there was a developing story coming out of Georgia. Some of you may have already heard about it, picked up on it. Others of you may not have known what it was about. But to make a long story short, there were um, two firefighters out of Georgia who went missing about 5 days ago, and I've got a pic. There they are, and so they worked together, and they had been dating for about 7 years. All right. And as this story has been unfolding over the past 5 days, there had begun to be some speculation and such that none of her family, none of her people were coming out and speaking. No parents, brothers, sisters, friends were coming out and saying, "Hey, where's Reagan? We love you, Reagan. We want to help you." On the other hand, the young man, his mom was very active, making frequent making frequent TikTok posts, lots of interviews on television, and she was pleading that both Reagan Anderson, the young woman, and her son Chandler Bander, that they would both be found and brought home safe. And it seemed to me the mother and the father, when they would do these interviews and such, they were very careful not to speak negatively about Reagan, the young woman. They were very careful to say that she was a lovely person, that she was a great firefighter, that she had a future ahead of her. And so, to make a long story short, the story is that this was a relationship between Reagan and Chandler that was really toxic. It was described as toxic by Chandler. And he had broken up with Reagan. He had broken up with Reagan. The mother said that there were just these never ending messages and calls where she's frantic and she's begging him, please just meet with me. I love you. We need to talk. And he was really trying really hard to get some distance from her, start a new life, and get away. Basically, they said she was getting angry and beating him up. And she's a very strong, she's kind of a big girl. She looks to me like maybe she's close to maybe 5'10", 5'11", very, very physically fit, powerful. He is too. He's definitely a strong, fit guy. And so it just was not a safe relationship for either one of them. It had gotten to the point where he just could not function anymore within the relationship. And unfortunately, when he broke up with her, for both of their safety, she just couldn't deal with it. She just couldn't tolerate it. And I wondered, as I listened over the past several days, as the story began to grow, I kept wondering, where are her people? Why are they not pleading for her? And I think it's kind of coming out. She's pretty isolated and alone. She didn't really have much support from her own side of the family. And so they had been together for 7 years, had spent time with his family. Her relationships were his family, his friends. And to make a long story short, when he broke up with her, she apparently experienced it as she had nothing left, right? So it is a very, very, very long and windy, concocted story. The mother tried to really draw attention to the changing facts as more and more came out. Now this news report came out 2 days ago, but it was showing from South Georgia, where they lived. They, for some reason, somehow, the last known location of Chandler, he went to the gym, Crunch Gym in his town. He went to the gym, and it was caught up very, very reminiscent of Dan Markell, that they were able to find security camera that showed Chandler going into the gym to work out. They did see Reagan's car enter the parking lot and park near to Chandler's vehicle. A little while later, she leaves her parking spot. She drives around a few more minutes, and then you see Chandler walk out of the gym, and then neither one is seen again. So the conventional wisdom is they've got to be together. And indeed, they did have in South Carolina, in a gas station where Reagan stopped to get gas in her car, his phone pinged there in South Carolina. So they knew the two of them were together. And then later they ended up in Pidgeon Forge, a little bit north of Pidgeon Forge, Tennessee, where again, his phone pings again. And I was really gearing up. I made a long edited video that showed all the moving pieces of the story. But sadly, within the last hour or so, they have now come out to show that both Reagan and Chandler have been found dead in Tennessee. And the mother felt like Chandler's mom felt like earlier today she had done an interview, and she said that she felt like that Chandler really loved the area north, like the Smoky Mountain area north of Pidgeon Forge, Nantahala area and whatnot. Lots of very wild, lots of log cabins, very, very rural, lots of rivers, wild rivers. And that this was an area of the country that Chandler really had fallen in love with. And so she suspected that Reagan was making her way to this particular area, but hoped it wasn't what she had feared. And in fact, they have, just in the last hour or so, they've made the announcement that they did find them deceased. So I thought it was terribly sad. This video that I've got up was from 2 days ago. This was the sighting at the gas station in South Carolina.
2 Liberty County firefighters have been missing since Monday morning. They were last seen in Cosby, Tennessee, about 30 minutes away from Pidgeon Forge. WJCL 22 News' AJ Sisson has been on the story.
Now, Chandler was not seen in Tennessee. Reagan was seen. Chandler's phone pinged, but he was not actually seen
since the beginning, and he has new security camera footage that may help authorities in their search.
This is terrifying, and you have no answers.
On your screen is the last known security camera footage of Reagan Anderson on Monday night at an...
You see, she's a strong, you can tell she's a physically fit and strong, right? She also has a gun. She has a handgun. And right before she went up to Crunch Gym, she put out a suicide letter, like a text, I guess. And she wrote a little bit. And then at the end of it, she said, "I'm sorry, Chandler," which was strange because at that point she was alive and Chandler was alive. So the timing was odd. And ominous, right? If you're
an unspecified Circle K in South Carolina.
My understanding is that his phone pinged at the same gas station where she utilized her debit card and can visually be seen pumping gas. What I'm able to see, I cannot tell he was in the vehicle.
According to Chandler Kubander's parents, he was last seen on Monday morning, leaving Crunch Fitness at the Oglethorpe Mall. They say they saw security camera footage showing Anderson's car parked near Kubander's and then only saw her car leave.
After that, we don't see him again. His car was still in the parking lot at this time and remained so until they allowed us to go ahead and go get it because we have an extra key for it.
Monday evening is the last time either of their phones made a ping. The FBI Bureau of Knoxville referred me to the Cock County Sheriff's Office on the investigation. I called, but have not gotten a response.
I would encourage anybody that may come into contact with them to call 911. Any information that they could provide and being a good witness would be beneficial. Providing that information to local law enforcement.
We really hope it keeps going. Just keep sharing the information is what we really want. Find him and bring him home. All it takes is one time seeing him for us to find him.
So we're hopeful both of them are fine and both of them come home. So, and then we'll go from there once we get them both back here.
As more information is released, we'll update you on air. And
so this is Chandler over here. And then this young woman here is Reagan. But you can see he's a big guy, right? I mean, he definitely, there's really no likelihood that she would have been able to overpower him physically. So it's pretty, they feel pretty certain that she had her gun. The mother did say that they had specifically searched for her gun and had not found it. So you sort of think she probably had him at gunpoint, told him to get in the car. So it's a horrible, it's a horrible tragedy. It's a nightmare that this young man is recognizing that the relationship that they were in was dangerous for them. They were fighting. He was getting beat up by this young woman. She, on the other hand, she's a human being, and she had no body of her own. She had no family of her own. And when he left her, she had lost everything. She had also been arrested, I think last week, and I don't remember exactly when it was. She was arrested. At one point, he was on a date they were at the Olive Garden. And he was on a date with this girl. I think it was their first date together. And Reagan was incensed and crazy and angry. And she apparently was stalking Chandler. And so she found him at the Olive Garden with this other woman. And she went in and made a huge scene in the restaurant. There'll probably be video that emerges, would be my guess. Anyway, there was this huge scene. She leaves the restaurant. And when she leaves the restaurant, she keys up his car really bad. I mean, this young woman was emotionally overwrought. She was emotionally out of control. And we've seen people, even on YouTube, when people don't have effective coping skills to manage the tragedies and the struggles that come into their life, when their available coping skills are overwhelmed by the tragedy, you can tell they're not okay. They scream and yell. They throw things. They accuse people of bizarre and unusual behavior. They themselves may get in a car and drive like a crazy person or act out and take a handful of pills. So when we see people that get so overwhelmed that their actions are illogical and irrational, that they seem to have undergone a complete personality replacement, don't turn your back on those people. They are dangerous because they are not judging the situation accurately. I would suspect this young woman felt like she was under assault. I suspect she felt like she was left with nothing and nobody, and there was no hope that without him and the family that she had come to call her own, without them, and she lost her job when she got arrested because of her errant behavior, because she was acting out, she was hurt, but instead of it coming out as tears, it was coming out as pure, unadulterated anger. She was furious that he destroyed her life. Now, that was a delusional thought. It wasn't real. We all have the right to end the relationship in a gentle and healthy way when we're prepared to do that, when we're ready, when we decide, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. But for her own experience, being someone who may have a history of complex trauma, who may not have any other social supports other than this young man and his family, for him to break up and end the relationship, she didn't just lose him, she lost her entire lifestyle, and she had already lost her job because she was behaving in such a crazy fashion. So the reason that I wanted to go ahead and talk about this is because it's critical that we recognize when someone has had enough, when they are just, the available coping skills that they have been overwhelmed by the demands of their environment. Those are people that need your support. Those are people that need you to say, hey, let's go up to the emergency room. I know you're not sick, but there's medication that can help you feel better so that you can think a little more clearly, and we can come up with some answers for what you're going to do next. Right? And in this, well, in Texas, along with like 40 other states, every emergency room must have a mental health professional on call, available on staff, for any mental health emergencies that come in the door. You don't have to wait and then find a therapist and then wait for 3 weeks for the appointment. When people are having a breakdown, they need emergency care right then. I've seen people before so overwrought and so overwhelmed that they had a heart attack. Our brain is the command center of the rest of our body. And when the chemistry is so badly disrupted that you can no longer think straight, then the other systems in your body are in danger. You could have an aneurysm, you could throw a blood clot, you could have a heart attack. So seeing someone this out of control, seeing someone with such a broken heart who feels so abandoned and alone that they are now writing suicide notes, going into restaurants, screaming at the tops of their lungs, they need help. They need you to take a deep breath and say, you know what? My loved one may be furious with me. The person I care about, they may hate my guts, but my friend or my sister or my mom or my uncle needs medical care right now, and I need to get them to an ER to start the process of healing. If they had been able to get her to an ER, they could have gotten her some medication, would have calmed things down. Her rational thought would have returned. She would have gone into healthy grieving. They could have given her psychiatric care, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and then she could have been on her way to rebuilding a new life. And as it was, she simply did the most unimaginable for someone that is thinking clearly. But when you believe that your whole world has just been stripped from your hands, that you have, and now you've lost your job, she was simply it's just terrible. There was already something else that was happening though, because he had been in this long relationship with her, and in recent, within a year, 18 months or so, she had started lashing out and hitting him, right? So there was a lot of, so you don't know if maybe there was already some cheating. Maybe he was already saying, hey, I need to get out of this relationship. This is not what I want. She did some strange things too before this. Like there was a large sum of money. She transferred this large sum of money over to Chandler. And Chandler was like, why is she doing this? And he's at the same time she sends us money electronically, he's telling her, I'm not meeting with you. I'm sorry. I know you're hurt. I want you to be okay. This relationship is bad for both of us. Right? That yes, Alessia, domestic violence, Reagan was hitting on Chandler. Yes. And he was being really firm with her that he loved her. He wanted the best from her, but they were not good together. And this was not going to be a relationship that he was going to continue. That was the other thing, Alessia. So Alessia brings up another really, really great point. Remember Barry Morphew. Y'all listen up, okay? Because a lot of people don't recognize this as abuse. Barry Morphew, he cornered Suzanne in a closet where he then took a handgun and held it up to his own head, not to Suzanne's head, but to his head, and threatened to kill himself. In fact, Barry Morphew would often tell Suzanne that he was going to end his life. People that threaten to kill themselves when someone is trying to, end the relationship or trying to change behavior, and they say, I can't stand this, I'm going to kill myself. Look what you did to me. That is abuse, period. It's abusive. It is a type of assault. So the fear that comes knowing that you've just broken up with someone and now they've got a gun to their head, your body, it's going to take your body a year to recover from that level of emotional turmoil. It is abusive. And this young woman had been doing this to Chandler for quite a long time. Every time he would try to break up with her, she would say, I'm going to kill myself. I can't live without you. I have nothing without you. So this young man was in a terrible, terrible situation. Horrible. And he had finally been able to break up. She just did not have what was needed to manage the loss. And the people in our lives that we love, the people that are in our lives that we care about, even if it's coworkers, when you see this, recognize this as a medical emergency, please. Because this young woman, if she had been taken to the hospital, that both of them could be alive today. Both of them. It's just the saddest, most horrible story. It is just devastating. So it is frightening, right? I mean, it's frightening for me. I've been doing this a long time. When I have to pick up the phone and call CPS, I'm anxious. It's a big deal. When I have to call and get a hospital bed for someone, I'm anxious. It's a big deal. But the image of these two young people lying dead in the forest somewhere because she felt like she did not have anywhere to go. All he wanted was peace. He was just trying to get away from a young woman that was clearly dealing with complex trauma from her own childhood. It just didn't have to be this way. It just didn't have to. If someone Even when she was arrested, and this is on the cops, okay? This is on the police. When she was arrested, demanding a psychiatric evaluation, getting her started on medication, the judge holding her for a week as that medication began to work. That would have been enough to save these two, possibly. We've got to stop being scared of responding properly when people are in a mental health crisis. Let me ask you this question. If she had gone into the jail, if she had been arrested and she had a big old cut on her arm and she's bleeding from her arm, would they have just said, hey, post your bond, we'll let you go? Or would they have taken her to the hospital and gotten stitches? They'd have gotten her medical care, right? You're going to tell me a woman who's able to graduate college, become a firefighter, and now suddenly she's doing crazy crap like transferring large amounts of money to someone who's broken up with her, going into Olive Garden screaming at the tops of her lungs, keying up a car knowing full well that that's a crime. You're going to tell me this woman who's threatening suicide all the time, you're going to tell me the cops couldn't look at this woman, see how dysregulated she was, and say, hey, something is clearly happening with this young woman. We need to get her some medical care. I mean, if nothing else, they could have required her to go anger management classes at the very least. But that wouldn't have done anything except incensed her more without the medical intervention. There's medication that they could have given her that within a week it would have started working in terms of calming that anger. And then the other medication given about 4 to 6 weeks, she'd have been back in her right mind. It's just devastating. It's just really, really devastating. And I was, preparing over the last couple of days, learning everything about these two and their families, watching all of his mom's stuff. I was just so disappointed to see that they had been found dead. Just so disappointed. So disappointed. It's so uncalled for. Just awful. So please remember the young man's name. It's kind of a weird name. It is Chandler Huebender. His mom and dad have been very active online trying to get help, reaching out to true crime community, asking them to look, to watch, talking about the direction they were driving. She's a beautiful girl, absolutely gorgeous girl. She could have left him. She could have gone on and had a gorgeous life somewhere else. But she couldn't think clearly because she was overwhelmed. She was full of fear. She was angry as hell that her life was upside down. And all he wanted was some peace. He's entitled to choose the person that he wants to be with. And he could not deal with her emotional needs anymore. He was just overwhelmed. So be calm and have peace. If people in your life are in crisis and they're struggling emotionally, take a deep breath and invite them to let you take them to the emergency room or to their doctor. They can get medication to help them, get them in with a good psychologist, people that are in this emotional state, they are having a medical emergency, y'all. And there is help. There is help. That's what's so damn tragic about this. There's so much help. She's beautiful. She's smart. She had so much that she could have built her life on. It's just, yeah. And it was just a situation out of control. And kudos to his mom and dad. They were so supportive. Every post that they did, they were calming to her. They said, that she was a wonderful person, that she had a wonderful life, that they just wanted her to be safe and Chandler to be safe. They did not demonize her. They did not attack her. It's just terrible. It's really sad. All right. She had a good job, could have made it if she had gotten help. Yeah, well, she ended up getting fired just a few days before that they went missing, because she got crazy and keyed his car and went crazy, and it's terrible. And like I said, if she had been bleeding, law enforcement would have taken her to the hospital and gotten stitches. But because it was a mental health emergency, there was no blood to be found. They told her, suck it up, deal with it. Yeah, DB, in those kinds of situations, like what you've described, she needs to just find a licensed psychologist, okay? And that's I know that sounds kind of strange. There are medical psychologists. There are psychologists that work in hospitals and work with people. Like for me, I work with a lot of people that have had brain injury, that are learning to walk again, or they have gotten prosthetics, and so they're learning how to use their new legs or arms. I also work with burn patients, so their appearance with the scars and such is dramatically changed, or they have chronic pain problems that we work on. But what you're talking about with the adjustment to this new way of life, normally if you reach out to a licensed psychologist, someone who's operating independently, those people will have some level of medical background, at least like a practicum experience. So reach out to them first. Look, I got LPCs that I refer people to. I even have 2 coaches that I refer people to, but they're not like just general life coaches. They are people that worked in very specific areas, and so they are experts in their own field. So I like LPCs and some type of coaching and whatnot, but when you're talking about someone who's had a medical issue that affects every moment of their day-to-day life like that, they need someone that's got a little bit more in-depth training in terms of clinical issues, behaviorism, trauma. They need to be able to understand medications and the effect that it can have on mood and memory and adjustment. And so you need to find a licensed clinical psychologist and start there. That's probably going to be enough. So most of the time I'm like, yeah, go to marriage and family therapist or counselor. But when it's medical, these are huge life changes. The body is incredibly complicated. The kind of surgery that she had where the gut biome is disrupted, that's going to have direct effects on brain chemistry. And so she could begin. Okay, so when gut biome is disrupted in any number of things that can cause that, through disease, injury, diet, whatever. Sometimes we see OCD emerge, which is really chemically based. It's not because someone's just feeling bad and wants to feel different. The chemicals get disrupted, and as a result of the chemistry alteration, they'll begin to act in repetitive manner they can't control. We also see where gut biome is affected. We also see increased episodes of what are kind of manic episodes, or perhaps bipolar diagnoses will go up at the same time. It doesn't mean it's actual. Well, they're demonstrating those behaviors that will satisfy the diagnosis, but if you can normalize behavior and get the chemistry back in balance, then those behaviors go away. So that's why whenever you're talking about something medical that is demanding a full change in day-to-day life and activity, you're going to do better off with a psychologist, because we are trained not only just in psychology and the behavioral stuff, but we also had to learn the brain chemistry, pharmaceuticals, how it interacts, things like that. All right. The one who knows, how are you? It's been a long time since I saw you. Yeah, I think so, first name. I mean, we don't have clarification on that yet. I sort of think that he may not have even been alive, like in the security footage that they have of her at the gas station. I think that's probably how she got him in the car. She had her firearm with her, maybe. And then she kind of, maybe she had like this delusional thought that they would be together forever in this beautiful place that he loved so much, right? It's so tragic. I'm furious about this, because it was so avoidable. It was so avoidable. It's just awful, terrible. All right. Let's see. There was something else I was going to comment on, and I don't remember what it was. So was it Coburger? Yes, it was Coburger. Did y'all see in Indiana? This is a crazy story. They have begun digging up this farm where this serial killer lived back in the 80s and the 90s. And they have found more than 10,000 human remains on this serial killer's farm. Now, the serial killer has died. He's long past. He took his own life in 1996 as the authorities were beginning to question him. His name was Herb Baumeister, and he was sort of a Jeffrey Dahmer kind of guy. He would lure the young men to his home, this farm, and this occurred over like a 20-year period of time. And now Hamilton County is in the process of uncovering all of these people that were buried there on this 18-acre farm. It's called Fox Hollow Farm in Hamilton County, Indiana. The second body to be identified, the third body to be identified, the most recent, is a guy named Jeffrey Jones. But they have identified more than 10,000 remains. Many of the remains were burnt and crushed. That has made identification extremely challenging. They are now in the process of transferring remains to the FBI so that they can use DNA experts from Texas to try and do the genealogy, the genetic investigation, where they do the DNA profiles and then they kind of search backwards, right? So they currently have 4 that they are trying to match up to family members to identify who they could have, who they were. They say they have found, let's see, they have 4 DNA profiles that have not yet been identified, bringing the total number of victims to 12. Now that's 12 that they're actually seeking the identity, but they have 10,000 bits of body, right? So I think that is a crazy and developing story. The other crazy and developing story, well, let me check if we got an update on Reagan and Chandler. The bodies were found in Coke County, Tennessee. This is where Anderson's car was located. It kind of makes you think, yeah, I was trying to see if there was anything else. Hold on, let me look. Cubander's vehicles found Savannah. Anderson's vehicle was spotted in Richmond Hill before it was found in Tennessee. Police said details pertaining to the discoveries of their bodies, the vehicle, and events leading to their deaths are not available at this time. We extend our deepest condolences to the Anderson and Cubander families during this incredibly difficult time, said the Hinesville Police Department. Okay, so we don't know anything yet. We still don't know anything. I just, for some reason, I don't think he was alive. I think maybe the way she's so freely moving about the gas station, she doesn't seem concerned. She's not like looking back at the car. I just don't think he was alive. I think he was already gone, and she had a place in mind. I think she went there and that was it. You know, I think that's how it probably played out. Hey, Crystal. Welcome, Antonio Anthony. How are you? Thank you, Sundance. Appreciate your support. All right. And so finally, this book, you know, the one I'm talking about, the book about Brian Kohberger, right? So there's an allegation made in the book second or third chapter, that Brian Kohberger was like hitting his father, that there were physical altercations between Brian and his dad. Well, there's a lot of people that are mad about the book, right? Because there's been this incredible gag order on the whole thing, the whole case, right? And I think the way the gag order reads is something, y'all correct me about this. Gag order is something along the lines of, you know, anybody with primary knowledge. Is that correct? So primary knowledge would be, in my estimation, my thought, primary knowledge would be people that were involved in the investigation, people that had access to work product, correct? There's a missing child in Logansport. Oh, no. Oh, that's not good. This is so sad. I don't know what I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it this way. Our culture is not healthy right now. There are a lot of people in crisis because it's hurt people that hurt other people, right? And we've got so many missing people, assaulted people, so much drug. We're doing something wrong, y'all. We need to collectively sit back as a nation and ask ourselves, what are we doing wrong? what's happening here, that so many people seem to be in the middle of mental health crisis. Missing child in Logansport, Indiana. Bryson Muir, missing son, oh my goodness, of a ball player. Last seen leaving the Ohio house. Parents no longer cooperating in the search for ex-Colts. What the hell? Thank you for telling us about this. Y'all hold on. I'm going to share this with you. Just a second. Share screen. All right. Okay, so this is the one who knows gave us this story from Indianapolis. This article came out 2 days ago on June the 28th. It was updated yesterday, the 29th. It says Indiana State Police have declared a silver alert for the son of a former Colts player after his parents backed out of an arrangement to bring the teen to the police. He has been considered missing for 12 days. Indiana State Police are asking for the public's help in locating Bryson Muir, a 14-year-old boy last seen 2 weeks ago in Ohio, who may be the victim of abuse by his parents. He is the son of former Colts defensive lineman Daniel Muir, who is now a person of interest in the investigation. Bryson is described by Indiana State Police as 6'2", 185-pound black male with black hair and brown eyes. The child was last seen with a black eye and wearing an orange Under Armour shirt and blue jeans. An abuse investigation into Bryson's parents recently began after a report from the child's grandmother. And here's the report. On Friday afternoon, ISP declared an official silver alert for Bryson, who they said is still considered to be missing and in danger. Police said that Daniel and Kristen Muir had agreed to bring their son to meet with the Indiana investigators at the Peru Post. The arraignment was scheduled for 12 on Friday. And here's a picture of Bryson. It's an incredibly handsome young man. Wow, that's so sad. Around 11, the Muirs reportedly backed out on the arrangement, and now this has signaled an unwillingness to cooperate with the police. Police are urging anyone with information on Bryson's whereabouts or his parents to contact the Indiana State Police at 800-382-0689, or you can call 911. He is our primary concern. His well-being and his safety are of utmost importance, said Indiana State Police Captain Ron Galaviz. And oh God, that makes me furious. That poor kid. I mean, not only does he have this giant black eye here, but look at how swollen this eye is over here, and it is bruised as well. Just not to the same level as this. He also looks like he's got a split lip. That poor baby. Bryson was last seen by non-parental family members on June the 16th after leaving his grandmother's home outside Cleveland, Ohio, with his mother, Kristen Muir, in a white 2015 Chevrolet Suburban. The child's grandmother reported to police that the child had a black eye and might be being abused by his parents. Captain Galaviz said it was just minutes between when the son and mother left the home and when the local police pulled over her Suburban. Officers said Bryson was not found inside the car with his mother. It was just minutes. It was not a long period of time whatsoever. But in that period of time, Bryson was not able to be found. We have no idea where he went. 2 days later, Cass County Department of Child Services asked the Indiana State Troopers to look into allegations of domestic battery inflicted upon Bryson at his home in Logansport. This was after the department was able to get a hold of the family. Up until Thursday, ISP had been unable to get a hold of the Muir parents despite going out to the family's home along the 1700 block of West US 24 in Logansport several times. Then on June 27th, Captain Galavez said detectives had made contact with Daniel and Kristen Muir and that they were beginning to cooperate. However, Bryson was still nowhere to be found. Oh my God. Cult connections? Oh my God. Oh my God. State police said the Muir's Logansport property is owned by the Servant Leaders Foundation, a nonprofit religious group. This is just great. The Chevy Suburban driven by Kristen Muir is also owned by the Servant Leaders Foundation. Y'all get to looking. Y'all get to Googling right now. We got to get up to speed on this story. This is unbelievable. Fox 59 crews recently went to the home located off of a secluded 2-lane road in rural Logansport and surrounded mostly by trees. A long gravel driveway is cut off near the road by a fence marked with multiple no trespassing and private property signs. There are no signs outside the home with the name Servant Leaders Foundation, but there is one right past the fence that says, "Welcome to Straightway, Indiana, Goshen." A crest on the sign has an S on a shield with 2 swords forming an X behind the shield. A Google search of Straightway will lead you to Straightway Truth Ministries, a Tennessee-based religious group that some online have labeled a cult. On the Straightway Truth Ministries website, the group states it is a nation of Hebrew Israelites who are commandment keepers, obedient to God and our Savior, Jesus the Christ. Straightway's official YouTube page features a video published 4 months ago of a man who appears to be the former Colts defensive tackle, Daniel Muir, preaching from a stage to a cheering crowd. In the video, Muir holds up a picture of himself and fellow former Colts defensive end Robert Mathis while discussing a place called Goshen. And here's the video. Let's look at the video. Well, let's see. Oh, they're calling him Shepherd Pastor Muir. Walking with Greatness. Here, let me find it. Hold on. Walking with Greatness. Pastor Muir. I'm looking, y'all. Hang on. Straightway. Walking next to great men. I think this is it right here. Yeah, here we are. Okay, let me share this with y'all. Hold on. Okay, so here the name of the video is Walking Next to Greatness by Shepherd Pastor Muir. He is the former Colt Indiana Colts football team defensive end. And now he's being, I guess he's the pastor, the preacher of this so-called church cult.
As the people of Yah, to appreciate being in the presence of greatness. Why is it hard? Man. You see what jealousy and envy and the state that it can have you in? Here's an example. You see this man here? I told the saints when we was at Goshen.
That's another NFL
Me and
player.
Elton can go places, and they'll come up. Oh, man, hey, how you doing?
Okay, because I got to be careful. I don't want to get a strike, and they'll probably strike me. Let's give them a thumbs down, shall we? So this is, and see, they've got comments turned off. Okay, this is, let's see what they say. Says, hashtag deliverance church, come out in Jesus' name. Hebrews, Jesus Christ, Yahweh, Yahshua, Holy Spirit, testimonies, faith, Straightway ministry. There it is. Straightway truth. Here's one to research. Pastor Dowell, Dowell, doctrine of Christ, Israelite, spiritual warfare, fasting and prayer, patriarchy, sisterhood, mother-daughter, mother-son, mother's love, motherhood, contentment, wilderness, testimony, wilderness, healing, feelings, emotions, straightway truth, Pastor Dowell, overcome, and prayers. Follow using the transcript. Here's transcript. We miss those days. Man, he used to do this move, man. He was spin inside. I told him, hey, I was telling the brothers up. I say, if go back and watch the film, you ever seen him do this outside spin? Now, that was impressive. Must be talking about, like, football stories. He goes on, he says, I know I'm speaking Chinese to you sisters out there because they're talking football, like women don't like football. And still turn the corner and smack a quarterback. So they're doing a lot of tackled as thousands, but Rob has tackled 10,000. What's going to stop him from taking over? You see how foolish that looks? So when this stuff is submitted to you, when this stuff is said in your heart, why you not stop laughing at yourself like a devil, you ain't going to get me, huh? Think about it. Or when one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it all. When one member be honored, all members be honored. No, he didn't say that, whether one member be honored, all members rejoice. See what I'm saying? Understand, Israel, when you are walking by your brother and sister, and your brother and sister in any way in their life has been honored, you are walking next to greatness. You are walking next to somebody that the Most High has chosen. It ain't about you at that moment in time. It's about your brother and sister. Admire the greatness. Don't you understand? We, the people, are, I'm trying to say it, man. I'm telling you, I tell y'all when you walking with your brother and sister, y'all don't see them old folk where they walk when they know they cool. Their hand turned to the back. It's like this. When you, brother, your brother, sister, hey, man, hey, bro, bless you. Man, you walking next to a king. You walking next to a priest. You walking next to a daughter of Yahweh. You walking next to a mother. You walking next to a daughter. That's who you walking next to. Understand and know. It's nothing. He doesn't say anything. There's no communication there. None. Christ. These fools use God and religion to get their narcissistic supply. He's no longer getting the glory of the NFL football, but he couldn't live without adoration. He couldn't live without being on a stage. Well, he found his stage.
Play too? Yeah, I play. Sometimes they'll come to me. I can be by myself. Hey, man, how you doing, Rob? I'll be like, hey, man, how you doing? Man, we miss those days, man. Man, he used to do this move, man, when he was spinning side. Members be honored, all members be honored? No, he didn't say that. Whether one member be honored, all members rejoice.
All right, I'm not going to play any more of that because I don't want to get a copyright strike. It's a big old man right here to be hitting on a 14-year-old kid. You know what I mean? That is a big guy. That is a big man. All right. Well, it looks like, thank you, the one who knows. Thank you so much for bringing this story to my attention. I did not know that this was unfolding, and I'm horrified. Remember, there's a 14-year-old child walking around with one eye really, really, really swollen and black. The other eye is also bruised and swollen. He took a hell of a hit. And the grandmother is the one that called the police to say that her grandson was in danger when the kid got into the mother's Suburban. This is a horrible story. Here's another story about it. Let's see what this is.
Already in Rollo. So apparently, Straightway is in a lot of trouble up there in Indiana. That's right. So Pastor Daniel Muir's son is missing, according to the news. This has been sent to me by recommendation. And so I looked into it, and it's true that Pastor Daniel Muir's son is missing.
If mods, will y'all please drop a link to this man's channel? Since we're going to listen to some of his channel, it'd be nice if y'all would go subscribe. He's only got 2,000 subscribers, just to, show support.
Private property, no trespassing, plenty of signs to let people know the message here. This is where ISP says the Muir family lives, who they can't get a hold of. This is 14-year-old Bryson Muir. Indiana State Police are trying to find him. Bryson is the son of Daniel and Kristen Muir. Daniel is a former Colts defensive lineman and now a person of interest in the ISP investigation into his son's location.
He's our primary concern. His well-being and his safety is of utmost importance.
Bryson's last known location was his grandma's house outside of Cleveland, Ohio. At the time, he had this black eye. Bryson left with his mother, Kristen, in a white 2015 Chevy Suburban. Bryson's grandmother called police, worrying her grandson was being beaten. State Police Captain Ron Galvez says minutes after that call, Kristen in that Suburban was pulled over, but Bryson wasn't there.
In that period of time, Bryson wasn't to be found. We don't know where he went.
The case was passed to the Indiana Department of Child Services and then State Police on June 18th. This brings us to here, the 1700 block of West US 24 near Logansport, where ISP says the Muirs live. The property and the Chevy Suburban Kristen Muir was driving are both owned by a group called the Servants Leaders Foundation, a nonprofit religious group based out of Kokomo. ISP has not been able to get a hold of either the Muir parents or Bryson.
We really started looking at this as an endangered missing person.
We visited the edge of the property Wednesday. You can see several homes and cars on the road. No sign of a white Suburban or any people, though. The only sign says, "Welcome to Straightway, Indiana, Goshen." Googling Straightway, you'll find Straightway Truth Ministry. In extreme relief, you'll find Straightway Truth Ministry. In extreme...
Yeah, we already listened to that part. This creator's name is Floridian Ralo, R-A-L-O. He's got 2,000 subscribers. Let's see if there's any comments under the video. Just one. He is speaking on this due to the recent video that Pastor Rufus put out about owning your own land and not allowing one man to own everything. He just posted it. These must be like congregation members. Own nothing, control everything. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's the guy they're talking about.
If you are ever going to go out,
I want to talk to you about property. Listen to this, y'all. You want to talk about property?
You're going to purchase property. Okay, it's one thing to purchase property, but if you want to know how to navigate and move into this world right here, the one thing you don't ever want to do in this world is purchase anything in your name.
I wonder why he's saying that.
Okay, well, I don't know what that's about. I mean, it does look like beautiful property, doesn't it? Oh, here's a comment by the grandmother. Okay. I'm a little bit afraid of getting a copyright strike there. Let's see if I can find the phone call from the grandmother. Hold on. Oh, JLR did something 8 hours ago on this story. All right. He says they were kidnapped by the cult. What? Just trying to see if we could find the grandmother's phone call is what I'm looking for. Let's see what Ringo TV Reactions put out.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Let's subscribe. Oh, this is a big channel. I'll put the link in the chat. Hold on. Copy. Okay, this is the link to this man's channel, Ringo TV Reactions. He's a big channel, 159,000. Shout out to the grandmother who's looking out for her grandson. All right, so I think this will be a friendly channel. All right, let's see what Ringo has to say.
Welcome to the Ringo TV Reactions channel. Thanks for having you here.
Are y'all good? Can y'all hear it?
Welcome to the Ringo TV Raw channel. Glad to have you here. We got work to do in the news. Straightway Ministries, P. Diddy Dow. His ministries is in the news. There is a missing child. And we're going to get the word out. We got a lot of work to do. We have a lot of things to talk about. To bring awareness to the story. A lot of you have been trying to get my attention regarding this. I already knew about it already. Like I said many times, I'm very, very busy. But now we have time. So what exactly is going on? Well, we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of darkness going on. But word on the street as of right now, P. Diddy Dow of Straightway Cult Ministries is pretty much in hot water. Their ministries is under fire for alleged abuse on children. That's right.
Oh,
Pastor Muir is a suspect. P. Diddy Dow is a suspect. They're hiding a lot of information from the public. They have not spoke out on this issue publicly to make the people understand that the 14-year-old boy is safe. Not
Imagine, you guys, they've got 2 NFL players connected in this story. The amount of financial resources they have at their hands to disappear if they want to. This is a huge story.
Once have he come forward to, I guess, share his thoughts regarding the allegations and the news media. They're wanting this message to get out there. Police and law enforcement, are seeking any information regarding this particular child. And I'm going to do my best throughout this particular live stream to hopefully give them what they need. First of all, if law enforcement is actually listening to this particular live stream, you can find said information or information that you may need on P. Diddy Dow's so-called Patreon account. On this particular Patreon, based on P. Diddy Dow's words that he published on his platform, he made it very clear that the news media got it all wrong and how they're persecuting him. And he said if people want to learn about it, they need to go on their Patreon. Now, I don't suggest any of you go to his Patreon because all he's trying to do is make you pay to go to his page in order to get the information. As a pastor who claim he is an Israelite, a man of truth, a man of integrity, you would expect him to come into the public and address these particular issues. But no, he wants you to go to his Patreon page so that you can pay for the truth. That right there is deception. You would think that a father would be concerned about his child. His child been missing for probably more than 12 days already. That's a long time.
This is incredible. This is an incredible story, y'all. So, okay, so he said, Ringo said 12 days. He did this yesterday. So the kid has been missing now 13 days, nearly 2 weeks. And you've got this strange religious insulation around the kid, right? The grandmother is saying these people are up to no good. They're now Dowell, who was the other NFL player, right? He was the one saying, go to my Patreon. If you pay money to me, I'll tell you what's going on with the kid. Well, if the kid was safe, you know damn well the cops have already signed up. You know damn well the cops are on the Patreon page watching. Crystal, he's saying P. Diddy Dowell, Dowell. Kind of a play on words, like Dowell is the puppet master, like P. Diddy was the puppet master. Pastor Dowell, who was once an NFL player, he's the main guy that is manipulating people. He's like the cult leader, right? Oh, this is really crazy. And I would suggest, if you're interested in the story, to go over to Ringo TV's channel and subscribe, because this guy, he's got 160,000 subscribers. He's clearly following the case, right? So he may be a really good one for us to kind of just keep up and get background story. And he seems like a good guy.
Time. And for whatever reason, they've been keeping this child hidden. They don't want law enforcement to see. Word on the street is that law enforcement got a hold of the parents and they agreed to meet up, and then they backed out of it. There's a very, very sinister thing going on.
It is sinister.
I possibly would suggest or give my thoughts that I believe there may be some sort of abuse on the boy due to religious initiation in terms of.
Oh, that's just makes me, I'm just having horrible thoughts of Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. If you had the same thought, put a one in the chat. This reeks of Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. This is crazy. Sovereigns, I'll tell you, I learned something else too, DB. They use the word sovereign citizen, but also if they identify as Moorish, Moorish, like from not Mozambique. I've lost my word. The country to the farthest west of the African continent. Oh well, it's gone. Yeah, it feels rough. It feels like there's something really bad happening. Yeah.
There could be something going on within the child. Possibly, maybe the boy is rebellious in terms of not wanting to comply with the cult. Perhaps there is some sort of sexual thing going on in terms of the boy's orientation, because as you know, Straightway Ministries is very anti, gay. They're anti.
So they identify as Moorish, and what they mean is a specific ethnic group that is speaking Hassaniya Arabic. They are usually from Mauritania, Algeria, Western Sahara, Tunisia, Morocco was the word I was looking for, Niger, and Mali. However, it's kind of interesting because some of these sovereign citizens are saying, I'm Moorish, I'm not, in contract with the United States, and here's my papers to prove that I can travel freely. But the problem is this: if they really are following rule of law, if they were born in the United States or they became a citizen in the United States, let's say that they're born in Morocco, they come over here, they become a citizen or get a green card or something, then the law says you can no longer move under the protections of the Moorish laws in your home country. So they don't seem to notice that, or they don't pay attention to that, But if you hear sovereign citizen, or you hear somebody identify as Moorish, and therefore they don't have to follow the rules of the United States of America, that's basically what they're doing, is they're claiming sovereign citizen protections.
Anti-everything. And based on P. Diddy Dow's own words, he said at his ministry, no one can live the alternative life. So if there's a possibility, this is just alleged, there's a possibility if the boy is going down that path, there's a possibility that he was abused because of these situations. So it is very important, if you know anything regarding this situation, to come forward and inform law enforcement by pretty much just letting them know, look, this is what's going on, because the grandma came forward. The grandma may have cracked the case and pretty much put this out there. In other words, maybe none of us would ever know this if the grandmother didn't put this out there. So we have a lot to cover. We have a lot of different news stories we're going to break down. Enjoy the stream. This is a very, very serious topic. Again, I already knew about this situation already. Like I said, I'm very busy, but now I got some time. I got some time to cook, got some time to do what I need to do. So without...
All right, this is going to be a really big story. All right, so I hope all of you subscribe to Ringo TV so you can come back and check the rest of this video out. I've got one more thing to share. Hold on. All right, here we go. So this is the grandmother of Bryson, she is the one that called CPS because he showed up at her house looking like this. And even though he's got a really terrible shiner here, look over here. It's swollen. You can clearly see the water that's collected here, and it's bruised. It's bruised on the bottom here and on the top. It's just not that complete ring like we see over here. It looks like he also has bruising on his forehead. See right here? It's purple. Right here, he looks like he's bruised. Looks like there's a bruise over here. Looks like he's got a busted lip right there, and it looks really swollen right here. And maybe he's scratched around his neck. Maybe some of the top skin has been scratched. Here's his dad. His dad was defensive tackle Daniel Muir for the Indiana Colts. That's an awful big man to be hitting on a 14-year-old kid, you know. Man, I am angry. I am really angry. It's just infuriating. And then let's look at can't remember Dowell's first name. Is it Matt Dowell? Let's see. Charles Dowell. Okay, so this is the asshole. This is the asshole right here that they believe is the one who bruised the young man. Oh yeah, see, he's identifying as an Israelite. Here he is right here. Again, big guy to be hitting on a 14-year-old kid, you know what I mean? Look at the muscles. That's disgusting, isn't it? That is disgusting. It keeps talking about multiple wives. Has he got multiple wives? So-called Pastor Dowell has multiple wives. Huh. Straightway truth, and that's the truth, and that's the truth. Straightway. Telling y'all, these cult leaders are all the same.
All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow, and this is Sister Erica Polydor. Now, we're here this morning because people are clamoring.
12.
People are interested in Straightway's way of doing things because they see that we're successful, especially concerning marriage, Hebrew marriage.
How old does she look, people? Should we guess ages? How old do you think this young lady looks? She's a baby. She is absolutely a child. Just now, I don't know what this guy's going to say because I haven't watched this video, but look at her. Wow. 13, 14, 12, maybe 16, 15 at the most, 14. Okay, so we're all pretty close in guessing, right? We're all on the same page. Let's see what they say. I don't know what they're going to say.
Years ago, I took her down to Texas to see her husband to be. She was already betrothed to him, and we went through the airport. And of course,
so they're doing arranged marriages in 2024. She doesn't get to pick. It's arranged by their daddies. Tell us, P. Diddy Dowell, how old will her betrothed be?
of course, everybody, because Erica, she looks young. She is still young. She looks young. And at that time, that woman thought you were, 13, 14 years old?
Yes, sir.
Something like that. I said, that's a woman. She's 18 years old, ma'am.
Okay. Are you sure about that, Mr. Dowell? Because my chat, just every single one of us guessed somewhere between 12 and 16. Most people said 13, 14, and that's what the lady at the airport thought. So who's doing your documents for your little cult there, buddy? This is horrifying.
Anyway, so I want to come on here this morning to show you how when you do things the right way and when you have oversight, like the Bible says, because the sister Erica, she lived on Straightway. How many years did you live on Straightway prior to being married?
About 2 years.
About 2 years. And in that, she received a lot of marriage counsel from Sister Carol. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
As well as myself. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So tell the listening audience out there, Sister Erica, what advantage you ended up gaining by having counsel from myself and Sister Carol.
Yes, sir. It saved a lot of heartache and pain because I was able to learn from any mistakes that you or Mama Carol may have experienced. I was able to gain a lot of wisdom and advice on how I need to conduct myself as a wife, what to expect as a wife, my role as a wife, and therefore I was able to prepare my mind for what marriage would be like. And when I became married, I saw a lot of the fruit of following the advice and counsel from you and Mama Carol.
But not only that, you saw the fruit for following the advice of your mother. Your mother as well, which was a great help, is right, especially now that you are a young mother. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, very much so.
She's already got a baby.
Let me see. Abigail is 16 months.
Yes, sir.
16 months now. Okay. All right. And of course,
I'm having a little trouble with your math there, P. Diddy Dowell. If this child you claim is 18 when she gets married, then how does she have a 16-month-old child?
you are married to Elder Mitchell. Elder Mitchell got ordained a few months ago. And you live in Texas, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You live in Texas. So how important is it to really, truly know your role as a wife and doing it the Bible way going forward? And then you can contrast that to so many people that you have seen that does not do it the Bible way.
Yes, sir. I have seen that there's a lot of peace and contentment and joy in doing it the Bible way. And being in my role, I don't have to stress. I don't have to worry because he provides for me. He takes care of me. He, he protects me. And all I have to do is obey. I just have to, take care of the home, raise his child, take care of him to the best of my ability. And there's a lot of fulfillment in that. I feel a lot of joy in doing so. And I have a lot of peace in that. I don't have to stress or worry about anything. He takes care of me, and I serve him to the best of my ability.
And there's a mutual respect there too, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
I mean, just because you're younger than him or just because you're his wife, that doesn't mean that he goes around and mistreats you and speak to you in any type of way that would demean you or tear you down. Is that right?
Yes, sir, that's right. He honors me as the weaker vessel, and there's a lot of care there. He sincerely wants the best for me. He wants to make sure I'm always taken care of, that I have everything that I need. Food, clothing, shelter. He works hard to provide those things for me with deep love. And he teaches me, and he cares for me. He's very patient with me, very merciful.
I'm feeling like we need to take a little break so we can all go vomit. And then when we get back from vomiting, I'm going to introduce you to Elder Mitchell. Hold on. What did I do with it? Hold on. I've got it. Hold on. Where is it? Was it taken down? Oh, how can it go down that fast? Share screen. YouTube. Right here, as we speak, the video of Elder Mitchell has been removed. How's that possible? How is that possible? Let me look again. See, it's right here on Bing. Okay, I can still play it off of Bing. Hold on. I got to change it to something else so I can play Bing instead. All right. Here is Elder Mitchell, that little girl's husband. There he is, right there. Should we take guesses on his age? Who wants to guess his age? Yeah, here's what, any of you that have the ability to download a video, download this video right here of Pastor Elder Mitchell. And let me give you the link in the chat so you can find it. Hold on. So go ahead and rip this video and save it on your hard drive, that one. And then I'm going to give you the other one to save. We need this one saved on a hard drive. You're gonna have to take it off of YouTube or Bing and actually relocate it to either your hard drive or external hard drive. Let's get those two videos for a very specific reason. Yeah, he's not 20. Look at the wrinkles. He's at least 30. At least 30. If somebody can get those two for me, please. Yeah, Fancy Nancy. But I need those two videos like as individual files on their own, please. Let's see what this asshole has to say.
YouTube, let me back into the video. Just coming on real quick, man. Been a part of this ministry for quite a long time. Straightway Truth Ministry, led by Pastor Charles Dow Jr. And as of late, they done demonetized his channel, man. And I mean, he done been suspended. I think he's been locked out of his account several times.
Oh my God! Take a look at this baby. Does that look like a 16-month-old baby to you?
Done lives and whatnot, but I've been able to learn a lot, from listening to Shep, man, for quite a long time. Been around 12 years now, and one thing I've noticed is ever since he's they've been, I don't know what they've done with his channel, but ever since then, I want to say about maybe a few days ago, man, he has put out a lot of videos on Patreon, and a lot of times it's like a rapid fire. And man, it behooves you, if you want to stay connected to the ministry, you want to continue to know kind of what's going on, stay abreast, and you want to hear some wisdom, you want to hear kind of about what's going on in society, whatever. And Shep gonna come from a spiritual perspective always. But if you want to stay in tune with what he's saying,
did he literally just say shit gonna come from a spiritual perspective?
What he's talking about and the vein which the ministry is going in, it'd be good if you just join the Patreon. You should be able to find it in a few of his videos in the description. A lot of times he puts out links, or I believe there's links there. There's links there. There's links to, many other things. It's all associated with the ministry and the work of the Most High anyway. But check them out. Check them out. There's different levels that you can be a Patreon to, but even $1 would do. Because Patreon, it's like a pay for. I don't even know what to call it. I wouldn't call it a sponsorship or whatever, but anyway, it's just a way. It's just a freer platform for him to be able to make videos and put information out there, really for the people. He's a content creator. I mean, didn't start off that way, I don't think, but now he's, anybody that's on YouTube that has a great following, they're content creators at the end of the day. And but he has a large influence. A lot of people listen to him, and many people that have followed the wisdom that he's been able to actually put out by the Spirit of the Most High has really benefited many greatly. And I've literally done exactly how Paul say, things that you've seen in me, things which you've heard of me, things which you've seen me do, you do. And I've really done that throughout the time that.
So this video was made December the 19th of 2023. So at least 6 months old.
That's why they just
Interesting. Weird.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom at that. Israel. Settle Mitchell, back in another video. Been a bit. I came on, made a video in a little bit. You know,
I want to
got plenty to
report these
upload.
names right here under this video. Give me just a second.
Had a little bit of a situation with, I don't know whether I would call him a young man or whether I would call him maybe my peer or something like that. But as I began to just meditate on what had transpired, I began to think about just some of the older men that had been around as of late, that have came to visit, those that have that I've been associated with, the older men in the ministry. And I just begin to just see a difference with some of our young men versus what I see in some of our old men. Now, we all know that, you know, not every old man is wise or whatever the case may be. I know that in the Apocrypha, it talks about, you know, wisdom is the gray hair of the old men. And that, you know, you can fulfill a lot in a short time. You know, you could fulfill a long time in a short time. That's how it's put in wisdom of Solomon. But I'm sitting here thinking though, and you know, we have a lot of, what I do see is in older men. There's something to the wisdom of older men. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, I don't know if it was just upbringing. I don't know if it's just, you know, how they were brought up way back in the gap or whatever the case may be. But, you know, what I notice, even being a young elder in the ministry, is I tend to get a lot more honor from older men than even the younger men. You know, I remember early on it was the opposite, but it seems as more time has gone by, it just seems that, you know, from what I can see, you know, a lot of these older men, they could look out, they could hear how a young man speak, or they could see how a young man is moving, you know, and because of their years being in his life, having applied knowledge, you know, making mistakes, going through ups and downs throughout their lives, they're able to see that you're off. And sometimes it'll do good to take heed to what they're saying. I think right now in the ministry, you know, there's a lot of young men that just want to figure it out. They just want to figure it out on their own. They don't want to learn from the lessons of people that came before them. They don't want to learn from mistakes.
This is important.
Other men make, or, you know, the idea is, man, Paul even says in the letters, man, that, you know, these things that old were done for our example. You know, not that we should continue in them. But what we have is, and this is something I've really noticed, you got brothers that need to pray on stuff before they talk to you. You know, you got a lot of people, they let the sun go down their anger. They leave a lot of issues unresolved.
Is he talking about Bryson?
Older guys, older men, is that, man, they're going to come right at you. They ain't got time. They're too old to deal with foolishness and unknowns. And then when you take somebody like myself, you know, young elder in ministry, and I say young because, I mean, he ain't no 20-year-old elders running around. So, but.
Yeah, how old are you, buddy?
I'd say
30, aren't you, at least?
So what you'll see is, you'll see some people despise my youth, you know, but then you'll have an older gentleman or brother, man, whatever the case may be. He actually totally submitted. And so he'll have to actually go and show this young man where he's despising the youth. He'll have to go and show this young brother where he's off, where he's talking not the same, where he's not truly of one heart, one mind, one body, one spirit. But he's able to see that. And I've seen that in a few older guys, a few of them. I've had older men come to this community, and they'll literally ask me, what's up with this brother right here? Mind you, no words has been spoken whatsoever at all. There's something to the wisdom of old men. We just, you know, sometimes you have natural discernment. An old man has a lot of natural discernment, natural. So they can pick up on a lot of things. And he was just around this brother, is what he was. And he came to me later, and I've never told him about anything.
Was it Bryson?
Expound, man, you too new for me to be just dropping stuff on you. So I like to allow people to come around and discern people for themselves. I don't want people, nobody. I don't say anything. I just let people's fruit speak for itself. And this old man picked up on it quick. It's like, man, what's this brother's deal? I'm just like, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe you ought to ask him. So like I said, old folks ain't got time for nonsense, mess, whatever the case may be. So, you know, he went forward. I don't know what he ended up doing, but the idea is though that young brother it'll do him well if he do take heed or listen to what the old man got to say.
Is that right?
There's a certain way that we should walk, a certain way that we should be able to honor the way we have things set up, like in this ministry. Say, for instance, we have pastors, elders, you know, teachers, deacons, whatever, heads of fellowship, they're just brothers. You know, we should be able to fall under the order, and it shouldn't be much of an issue whatsoever at all.
Fall under
this
the
is something
order.
we all agree to. Now, what I would hate, and I've told people this many times, you know, you heard Pastor mention, I think it was on Blog Talk or a video, or I don't know if it was Patreon, I can't remember, but he said it won't be too much more grace extended like it was to like Brother Rich. Now, what you have to understand is, you know,
there won't be grace extended like it was to Brother Rich. So who's this guy talking about? Are they talking about the trouble that Bryson is giving all these guys that are in control and enjoying all of their power? Is that what they're talking about right now?
People in the inception of things, there's a lot of people that come in to the ministry. Let's say, for instance, when you got a group of people that first come together as a leader, man, you don't know, or you don't think that people are going to turn out a certain way. Hell, you don't even know how you're going to turn out. You don't know the levels of growth that you're going to have or the levels of decline others will have. You just don't know. You can't see that far off. But now we all have a barometer, and if you will, as time has went on, and I would say that every community is probably in somewhat of a situation like that, where you may suffer someone for a very long time. Wow, because they're in the inception thing. They're actually part of building this thing up. And you give grace and you give mercy and you give grace and you give mercy for a long time, because hey man, this is like, you know, we did this together, we got this land together, we built this community together, whatever the case may be. You're part of what we're doing. Now I'm at a point where there's just certain things I just ain't gonna accept from day one. So if a person ain't already here on the land, there's certain things if I see you can't come, ain't no way, as you will not be invited. It's impossible. Dishonor, disrespect, can't accept it. Can't if you show a hint of it, can't accept it. Just whatsoever. If you show that your mind can't be fully engaged in what we're doing and you can't walk the same, you can't do it. You know, I told a brother some time ago, I got an example. You're an example of what I will not accept anymore on this land. Meaning I've dealt with you through your ups, through your downs, through your highs, through your lows, but I'm not going to deal with new brothers coming in that way. It's not. I'd rather you just leave you out there and you can deal with yourself out there. You know, I'd rather you not live here and be bringing down the spirit here.
Golly. Elder Mitchell, that is not very Christian of you, buddy. You just gonna leave them out there? What would happen to Jesus and Mary if they'd taken the same route? Are you a man of God?
So this old man that came to visit, he picked up on a lot of stuff, and I told him, I said, you know what? And I said, I'm gonna give you. I went ahead and I was pretty open and blunt with him, and I was just like, you know. And I pretty much gave a person as an example. And I said, if he look like him, he can't come. If he act like him, he can't come. If he smell like him, he can't come here. If he talk like him, walk like him, speak like him, believe like him, think like him, all this stuff, that person can't come here. It's just if I'm not going to deal with the headache, it's just not going to happen. So there's something to sort of basically what I'm getting at is there's something to the wisdom of old man, you know, to be able to go and import or pour into younger men, or to be able to see things afar off, to have some type of foresight, to head things off at the past, if you will, and go and point out to a young man, hey man, you're off. Now it's up to the young man to be able to hear and receive, but there's a lot of that going on right now where young men don't receive shit. Young men don't receive a damn thing. They don't receive nothing at all. They won't even consider. So that's what
Bryson received an ass whooping, you know what I mean? And then he disappeared, poof, into thin air like Sebastian.
one thing I do is I consider. I just consider heavily. What anybody has sex, I just want to be right. But you got some that just totally made up in their mind before you even open your mouth. Even though you come to them in love, even though you are coming because you care, because you want to save them, you want to help show them another way, even if it's the right way. In their head, if they ain't came to it, they ain't doing it. If they ain't came to it, they ain't hearing you. If they ain't came to it, they ain't trying to be down with it. It just is what it is, man. So, but we got a lot of that, I see. We got a whole lot of that. They ain't came to it, they ain't just ain't gonna hear it, man. There's something to just listen to wisdom and listen to people that came before you, because we all know the book, it talks about man that travel much knows much. Well, when you've been old, you've seen a lot, you've been a lot of places. You gotta be able to discern when somebody's just for your good. So I don't know. I can ramble on,
you hear that?
Meditating, but
this is gonna hurt me as bad as it's gonna hurt you, Bryson. Maybe not, because I don't see two big ass broke black eyes on you.
I think that's it for now. Bless y'all. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Blessings.
Interesting, isn't it?
And
The way things have to fall into place.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom at that. Israel. That's Mitchell. Back in the video.
Yeah, you're not in Israel there, brother. You're in Houston, Texas. Uh-oh. That is not a very Christian word that you're using there, Elder Mitchell. "7 days ago" would have been a week after Bryson got beat up.
This make ye of the Spirit read, which they that believe on him should do what? Should receive. Receive ye the Holy Ghost. Just like you received it, not the word of God, which is able to save your soul. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. John 14, verse 26. John 14, 26. Listen to this. One more and after this, and we done. And we still ain't done. Come on with it, brother. But the comforter, which you know, that one that really feels good. Sometimes when you need it, the one that said, I will never leave you, I will never forsake you, I will be with you always, even hallelujah, hallelujah. The one that really makes you feel good. Hallelujah. I won't leave you, I won't forsake you, I will be with you. Hallelujah. The Ruach HaKodesh. And the Lord was God. Hallelujah. Everything that was made. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Behold, your neighbor see. Glory to the King. That same spirit.
Hey, I'm just right now. I'm just in the background. Right.
Oh, he's in Kentucky now.
We good. Hey, saints, bless y'all tonight, or this evening, or wherever you may be. I hope all is well with each and every last one of y'all. I really, truly do.
Yeah.
I also hope and pray that.
This is Teacher Gregory, but he sure does look like Elder Mitchell.
We can have a great night together and make sure all is good. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's kick it off. Just want to give all done for each and every last one of us, and all that he's doing to this day, and even thanking him for the things that he will do for us. Hallelujah. It's an honor to be or impede flow or slow the flow down. All right. You have a high side and a low side that gives you a differential pressure, therefore it gives you the flow. But it's slowing it down. Checking how much air you have in it or lack thererof. If the pressure's where it's supposed to be.
They also have a trucking company.
Checking the oil and the engine sounds. You want to make sure you're looking at all that.
They're building them a little.
Have you been sluggish? Have you been just flat out lazy? Prideful? Don't have a true care for what this vision carries. Are you sensitive? And I ain't talking about sensitive in a volatile way. I'm talking about sensitive for a community that is completely ineffective. You see some thriving, you see some not really trying. You see some learning, and some just take a backseat. They're comfortable.
So tell me something, Gregory. How did you describe Bryson? That'd be a question the police would probably have for you. Oh yeah, this guy's a peach. Repeat offenders. Because they just simply won't change. They remain the same. They're repeat offenders. They're too hard to change because they feel like if they do make the change or adjustments due to the correction, what's the correction, Teacher Gregory or Elder Mitchell, who seems to be one and the same person? What's the correction, I would ask you? How do you take sluggards and lazy people, dumb people, and turn them into you? You use the correction, don't you? What is the correction? You want to care to enlighten us on that? We know exactly where this kid is. There's a very tall man. I wonder if that's Bryson. My God. Okay. I've gotten so angry now that I can't hardly stand it. Okay, so here, okay, so who got the 2 videos? If you got the 2 videos, do you think that you can email them to me, please? And I'll give you my email right now. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, me. You see, not religion, Hollywood, like performance arts, politics. These are the 3 big, let's say, career paths or environments that narcissists get really attracted to. It's an easy access to narcissistic supply, right? In my opinion, the most dangerous of these 3 environments is religion. I think that pastors and preachers, we instantly give them credibility, don't we? Like when we meet somebody and we find out, oh, well, this is a preacher, this is a Sunday school teacher, we instantly think what? They're smart, they're honest, they're moral, and yet we don't know anything at all about them. And in fact, in truth, the worst monsters that we've ever seen in this world have used religion as a backstop to control people. To get narcissistic supply. Look at Jim Jones down in Central America. Same thing. He took over people's children. He then began sexual abuse of the people of the cult. And when it was all about to be uncovered because there were people, kids, elderly people that were being harmed by that narcissistic cretin and the people that he was able to control, rather than any of them getting out alive and escaping, he killed them all. And I don't have to get up on a table and preach about it. The news is full of these stories. Look at Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. Same mentality, same bullshit. I think this thing with Bryson is going to turn out bad after what we just watched. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? After what we just heard Elder Mitchell say with his child bride, and P. Diddy Dowell and his narcissistic bullshit, where do you think this thing is going? Where do you guys think Bryson is? He's getting the correction, isn't he? Bryson is undergoing the correction. I'm trembling. I'm so angry right now. This is so obscene. So if we can get those 2 videos, send them to me and I will give them to the authorities. Here's my email. If you can just get me like a link, like a Google link or something that we can just share it through the file system, that'd be great. I'm just so disgusted. Sweet Tea, thank you so much. I appreciate you. That really means so much to me. You've been a good friend. Thank you. And Pam, thank you. Same. You have been around for a long time. We've been friends, and I really, really appreciate the sticker, the super sticker. So thank you so much. I don't get many of them, so when I get them, I am deeply appreciative. Thank you. People put their priests and their pastors on a pedestal. Big mistake. I like my pastor. He sins just like the rest of us. I don't put trust in mankind. I focus on God to guide me. Thank you. So well spoken, Beckles. Look at the Adelsons. Donna Adelson, for all of her preaching about religion and there's a right way to be a Jew and all that, somehow she completely forgot about thou shalt not kill. So everybody needs to remember, preachers, pastors, mullahs, they're just flesh and blood people. That's all they are. They're not God. They're not next to God. They don't even have a phone line that can call God. They're just like me and you. Oh my gosh, I'm just trembling. Oh my gosh. This is these rabbit holes, right? This is what happens in true crime. You find a story on the surface. It just appears to be a fairly mundane kind of sad tale, right? And then how do we get to these places? We know where Bryson is. After watching these videos that we just finished watching, we know what they did with him. We know it. They look at him as the cult will look at him as like their property. I did not, Funky. Let me look. Hold on. I am too, Cinnamon. I'm just livid. I am just livid. I'm looking for Funky's. Where is it? Hold on. I'm so sorry, Funky. I don't see it. Can you put it up again for me, please? It is such a nasty rabbit hole, DB. Beware of preachers with Patreons. How about that, Moonlight View? Beware greedy leaders. If your preacher has got a Patreon and all of the elders in his little cult are telling you to go pay the money and go watch Patreon, you may be in a cult. Save yourself. Can't remember which states has made a law that the 10 commandments have to go back into the classrooms. Yeah, Louisiana was I think was the first one, but there's like 10 of them, right? I don't know what rabbit hole you went down. Just got here. I probably don't want to know. The world is really scary because of people. Yeah, Beckles, you're going to have to go back and watch the beginning of this because it's a crazy story. There's a 14-year-old kid. His dad was an NFL player. And his dad's friend was also an NFL player, and they got mixed up in a cult. And so the 14-year-old boy, his name is Bryson Muir, his grandmother calls DHS and says, hey, my 14-year-old grandson just left with his mother. He's got 2 black eyes. He looks like somebody beat him up, and I think it is his parents that are abusing him. And so the cops immediately, like as soon as they get the call, they jump in the car, they see the Suburban, they pull the mother over. And in that short time, Bryson is now not in the Suburban anymore. He just poof into thin air. Same place Sebastian went, I suppose. And so the parents were not cooperating, right? They were like, no, we'll try. We'll help. Well, they came up with an agreement with the cops. They agreed to present Bryson, that Bryson is safe. There's nothing wrong with him. He's okay. And they had an agreement with the Indiana State Police to meet up at this certain point, Peru Point, I think was the name of it. And they would let the cops talk to Bryson and see that Bryson is safe and that he's okay. And when the time came, guess what? No, sorry, no Bryson. So they have not presented Bryson like they agreed to, and they have stopped talking to the cops. Me too, Epic Goldie. Me too. And don't tell me that child was 18 years old when she got married and she's got a 16-month-old baby by Elder Mitchell in Houston. Because they went across state lines. And you know what that is? That's kidnapping. So now Bryson has been missing for 2 weeks. Can't find them. They've holed up and they're hiding on the land of this cult in Kentucky. They've also got another cult compound in Texas, and everybody's looking for this 14-year-old kid who had the shit beat out of him. And that's where we are. That's where we are. And so we started looking at the cult. We started looking at this church and these two guys that called themselves pastors. We ran across a child bride. We followed who her husband was. And now we're watching these videos where Elder Mitchell is saying young men are defiant and they're not acceptable. He called them all kinds of horrible words. And then he said that if young men do not accept, quotation marks, the correction, then he's just going to abandon them. He just doesn't care about them. I want to know, what's the damn correction? Is that what we saw in the picture of Bryson? Because this wasn't a young man who, was being taught how to behave. This was a victim of a physical assault. This was a kid that got the hell beat out of him. Let me see if I still have that picture up. Hold on. I'm gonna open it back up for you so you can see it. It's going to make your blood boil when you see it. You're going to be furious when you see what they did to this kid. Wow, I am fighting mad. There's the 14-year-old. I'm assuming the grandmother took this photograph at her house. You can see he's got this terrible black eye here. This eye is definitely swollen and purple on the inner corners, right? Not to the level of this one. This one's so swollen it's closed shut. This one has got a black eye over here too, swelling. It's just not swelled all the way shut. He's got a giant bruise up here. It's purple. I don't know if you can see it through YouTube, but looking at it on my TV or on my computer, it is definitely purple here. He's got a huge purple bruise right over here. His lip is busted and swollen right here. It's swollen big right here. It looks like it was bleeding right there. And then he looks like he's got a bad scrape or maybe it's a bruise right here around his neck. This is not a kid that got a correction. This is not a kid that somebody was trying to teach him how to behave. A 14-year-old. This is a kid that got shit beat out of him. And his dad was an NFL player. The pastor of the church, NFL player. Defensive tackle, NFL player. So unless these cult members, if they were not involved in him, poof, into thin air, where the hell did he go then? Because the grandmother called DHS and said, my grandson is here and he has been assaulted by his mom and dad. The mother took the 14-year-old, got in the Suburban, drove away from the house, and just that fast, the cops were able to intercept the Suburban, and in that short period of time, she didn't even make it home. The cops stopped her, and Bryson was already gone from the Suburban, and the mother refused to answer what she did with him. Refused to answer what she did with him. So who do you think came and picked him up? Oh my God, I'm so mad. Epic, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you will send me the 2 videos, then I will get them where they need to be. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. We all need to say a little prayer for this kid that we don't end up at the worst possible ending. Like, I get so scared of these culty kind of religious stuff because they're so unbalanced at times. You know, you don't, if the cops, I mean, remember Waco, right? Remember David Koresh. No one would have ever predicted, oh, okay, we'll bring tanks in. Let's just go ahead and kill 100 or more kids and women. They're going to bury them in the damn ground in a bus. We'll just kill it. It's craziness. This religious stuff that goes, you know, that gets out of, that leaves the rational realm. I mean, the worst thing is coercive control that's committed in the name of God. That is the worst thing. This does not look like my kind of God. My kind of God doesn't say beat the shit out of your children. This is an obscenity. This is about power and control and abuse. Compliance. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The one who knows. Yeah. And the parents are all lawyered up. The church is all lawyered up. What would you do? Let me ask you this. If you had your son, if you guys found yourself in the same exact situation with Bryson and whatnot, and Bryson was safe and he was okay, and the cops are saying, just present your son so that we know he's okay. That's all we care about. We don't care about you or your church or the way you do your religious observation. We don't care. We only care that Bryson is safe. Correct? What would you do? Say, okay, let me go find a lawyer? Is that what you would do? Or would you say, okay, I'll bring my son to come see you. He's safe. He's fine. He's not damaged. He's not hurt. Why would anyone do that? I sure hope he's okay. Ugh, it's terrible. All right, well, this I did not expect. You know what I mean? I did not, I never this has caught me completely by surprise. I'm just livid. And you don't, let me show y'all, those of you that just came in, let me show you the supposed 18-year-old bride. Let's see where it is. Hold on. Yeah. Here's your 18-year-old bride. There she is. See her? How many of you believe this girl to be 18 or older? Put a 1. If you think she's 17 or younger, put a 2. Let's see where we stand. Okay, so 2 is 17 and younger. 1 is adult, 18 or older. All 2 so far. 2. The way he's looking, Vicky, I think she looked incredibly uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. That's what I thought, Beckles. Some people said 12, some said 13, some said 14. The one who knows, thank you so much for showing me this, because this is terrifying. This is terrifying. I would like to know how he got to his grandmother's house. It was his mom's mom. Exactly. And you don't know how, you don't know if he ran away from home and walked there. You don't know if he got an Uber. I mean, he's 14, right? Most sophisticated kids can definitely take an Uber. It's hard to know, but nevertheless, it's clear there had to be an altercation between the mother and the mother and the grandmother, because the grandmother's on the phone calling the cops before they even get out of the driveway, saying, you got to help me. I think my daughter is hurting my grandson. I took a picture of him. Look what they did to him. Horrible. It's just incredible. So this young lady has got a baby. Look at her. Got a baby that he says is 16 months old. Her husband, it was an arranged marriage. This man right here used to be an Indiana Colts NFL player. This is P. Daddy Dowell, okay? He arranged the marriage to Elder Mitchell of this little girl. And this man right here, put her on an airplane. He flew with her to Houston to meet Elder Mitchell so they could get married. He claimed she was 18 years old when they made the flight. But when you go look at Elder Mitchell's video, as he's sitting there talking, there's like a 3 or 4 year old little kid playing around the chair. So what is it? Is she 18 when she got married and then she had her baby? How could she be 18 right now and have a 3-year-old baby? How's that possible? Or even a 16-month-old baby if this guy right here is telling the truth. I don't think this girl's any older than about 14 or 15. Already got a baby. In an arranged marriage. I want you to look at the look on her face as he talks. Watch.
Years ago, when I took her down, it was a couple of years ago, I took her down to Texas to see her husband to be.
Oh, he said it was a couple of years ago. So he's telling us that she's now 20. Does this young girl looks like she's 20 or 21 years old? Look at her demeanor, her body language. Is that the body language of a 21-year-old married woman with children? He gets all messed up because then he says, oh, well, we flew. She was 18. Oh, he's this crazy.
She was already betrothed to him. And we went through the airport. And, of course, everybody, because Erica, she looks young. She is still young. She looks young. And at the time, that woman thought you.
Does she look comfortable to you guys? Or does she look like she wants to die?
Were, 13, 14 years old?
Yes, sir.
Something like that. I said, that's a woman. She's 8.
Did y'all catch that little micro expression? Watch her face. Yeah, I don't think so, P. Diddy Dowell. Yeah, I don't think so. Think you're full of shit. God damn. This is disgusting.
18 years old, ma'am. Anyway, so I want to come on here this morning to show you how when you do things the right way and when you have oversight, like the Bible says. because the Sister Erica, she lived on Straightway. How many years did you live on Straightway prior to being married?
About 2 years.
About 2 years. And in that, she received a lot of marriage counsel from Sister Carol. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
As well as myself. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So tell the listening audience out there, Sister Erica, what advantage you ended up gaining by having counsel from myself and Sister Carol.
Yes, sir. It saved a lot of heartache and pain because I was able to learn from any mistakes that you or Mama Carol may have experienced. I was able to gain a lot of wisdom and advice on how I need to conduct myself as a wife, what to expect as a wife, my role as a wife, and therefore I was able to prepare my mind for what marriage would be like. And when I became married, I saw a lot of the fruit of following the advice and counsel from you and Mama Carol.
But not only that, you saw the fruit for following the advice of your mother. Your mother as well, which was a great help. Is right, especially now.
So this little girl, before she's married to this arranged marriage of an older guy, he looks at least 30 in my opinion. This man right here and his wife and her mother are all teaching her while she's a kid, a child, teaching her how to be a proper wife. Well, how far did that instruction go? Y'all know what I mean. How far did the instruction go?
Now that you are a young mother, is that correct?
Yes, sir, very much so.
Let me see. Abigail is 16 months.
Yes, sir.
16 months now.
Okay, I got to tell you something, P. Diddy. That baby that is in the video with Elder Mitchell, that is not a 16-month-old child. And if you went on the airplane a couple of years ago to introduce her to her betrothed, and she was 18 at that time, then she would have to be at least 21, 22 right now to have a child that old. And that girl right there is not a day over 14 years old.
Okay. All right. And of course, you are married to Elder Mitchell. Elder Mitchell just got ordained a few months ago. And you live in Texas. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You live in Texas. So how important is it to really, truly know your role as a wife and doing it the Bible way going forward? And then you can contrast that to so many people that you have seen that does not do it the Bible way.
Yes, sir. I have seen that there's a lot of peace and contentment and joy in doing it the Bible way. And being in my role, I don't have to stress. I don't have to worry because he provides for me. He takes care of me. He,
So she doesn't have to worry about anything like getting educated, going to college, having a career, having independence, being able to take care of herself and her children. She doesn't have to be worried about anything like that. All she's got to do is be a man's slave and accept whatever he's willing to provide her. And then that's all she gets in life. There's nothing else for her. She simply relished to a role of serving a man. But she's entitled to do more. She's entitled to an education if that's what she wants. She's entitled to go to college, develop, have a career, travel, do fun things with her family, to be an equal partner with her husband, to be his friend, not just a slave to him.
You know about big city, you know about being in Christian churches, you know about all this stuff. You understand? I mean, from coming from the city, going to the country, then back to the city, and now you're moving back to the country. So people be hard pressed to tell you anything other than that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I've experienced city life. I experienced life as a Christian, as a heathen, and it was nothing but misery.
So Christians are heathens?
Honestly, I hate, that lifestyle out there. I really do, because I lived it for so long, for 16 years. And
what? Now the truth comes out, P. Diddy Dowell, doesn't it? She was a heathen for 16 years. She's been living on your property for a couple of years. She got married. Well, how old was she really when she got married? 16 years old? She was picked for Elder Mitchell, wasn't she? So she was 16 when she got married.
I had no peace out there. There was no joy out there. Everything was vanity, emptiness, futility. You know, just looking for the next thing to make you happy. And once you did whatever gave you that, you know, temporary, you know, joy, it went away, and then there was misery.
So what gives you joy now? Like, what do you have now that gives you joy? Is it joyful to just wait for the men in your life to tell you the next thing they would like for you to provide to them? Go make me a chicken pot pie. I want pancakes this morning. Go give me sex. Like that's the highlight of your day. How is this what is happening here in this video right here? How is this joyful? Where's the hope? Where's the interest? Where's the stimulation? Man, this is burning me up.
Again, so I don't want that ever.
Is it really that hard for a wife to obey her husband?
Not at all, especially when the man is an honorable Hebrew man like my master. I'm
done. I'm done. I can't listen. No, I'm done. That's it right there. I'm not listening to any more of that foolishness. You heard it, Ceresia. Like her master. Like her master. What'd I say? A life of slavery. Isn't that what I said? No, they're not Hebrew. They're not Hebrew, and you're not in Israel. Feeling really, really triggered right now. Because this breaks my heart for this young woman. Sure does. Breaks my heart. It's incredible. All right. Can't go any further with that. I got to just quit because that's, you know, it's outside your hands, right? There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, we can all look at this and see that this woman is being victimized. And there's nothing to be done. It just is what it is. Just is what it is. But remember, Bryson, this the story is about a 14-year-old kid who was beat up badly and then is now gone. He's missing. His parents agreed to present him to the police. And when the time came, they said, nope, changed their mind, not going to do it. The grandmother's terrified, looking for her grandson. And this man right here is a preacher along with the guy that you just watched with the young girl. So they're together in this cult. They're the leaders of this cult. And so there's real concern about exactly what may have happened to Bryson Muir. And now we see another young girl who's been victimized by these same people, but just in a different way, right? Based on her gender. It's frightening. This is going to, I'm afraid this is going to end up in a bad way. I'm afraid the resolution is going to be very difficult, very bad. I hope not. I hope it is okay. I hope the parents go, no, we'll bring him. And then it'll all be a nothing burger. That's the best to hope for at this point. I'm so upset about. It's kind of creepy, isn't it? It's kind of creepy to get these backdoor views of these people that get caught up in this cult-like activity. It's creepy to watch. It's like that did y'all see that 7M stuff? You too, the one who knows. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. Boy, we had no idea it was going to lead to this, right? This is just incredible. The depth of the story is really incredible. Delia Jones. So that's what he used his earnings as a cult investment in this cult. So weird. Yeah, Delia. So it appears that the two of them purchased a large plot of land in Kentucky. There's also a compound somewhere here in Texas. I think Tennessee, maybe there's a cult, a compound. If you go to the individual cult members' YouTube channels, it's showing where they're building all these buildings and they've got all these people out working together, you know. So, Funky Just Sunky said, I've posted my comment 8 times. I'm going to look. I'm going to find it. Hold on. Gonna find Funky Just Sunky's comment. It's got to be here. Hold on. Still looking. Still looking. Where to go? Where to go? Where to go? Good gracious. You guys are doing a lot of talking. Right above Epic Goldie. I see Epic Goldie. And then you say, did you see my comment? I think you're punking me. Are you punking me? I never saw your comment, Funky Jasunky. I literally never saw it. I'm being punked, right? If you're punking me, you're not going to be my favorite anymore. Funky Jasunky. It's not here. I'm sorry. It is not showing. I've looked through it several times. Did you find it, Shalimar? I checked before and all he did was put emojis of someone barfing. He's punking me. Thank you, Mystic Firefly. Okay. Very, very creepy. I jumped up, nervous pacing, locked the doors. It is creepy, Cinnamon Hot. It is creepy. Is that even the real Funky Jasunky? Nobody sees it, Funky. You're probably not even the real Funky. All right. So I think we're going to end now because all of us are triggered to hell and back, right? We're all just mad. If you'll email the 2 videos to me, I would appreciate it. Put my email one more time. And we will definitely be in the middle of this story. We're not letting go of this one. This is just crazy and scary. It's scary that a kid goes missing that fast, just like Sebastian. Just go missing just so fast. Yeah, YouTube will delete some of these comments, Funky, if you use certain words and stuff like that. All right. I hope you guys are doing well on Sunday evening. I hope you got a great day planned for tomorrow. Oh, Lady Rebel, no, I wish I could say it's my pleasure. I think everybody got triggered on this one unexpectedly. I just thought it was a simple, someone's hiding the kid or the kid ran away. I had no idea we were going to fall down this rabbit hole. No idea. But radio TV, he's on it. He's definitely deep in this. He's a channel with like 160,000 subscribers. So if he finally decided to join the discussion about it, this may turn out to be like a huge case. So we'll see where it takes us. I am so sad about what happened with the Reagan and Chandler, the two firefighters out of Georgia. Their bodies were found this afternoon in Tennessee. They're thinking that it was a murder-suicide, that Reagan, she did have a gun. And so we'll have to keep an eye on that and see, what we find out about where they found them and what the circumstances was. But his mom and dad were so active trying to get people to spread the story and get their pictures out there. So I know they're heartbroken. Please say a prayer for them. And this story though here with Bryson Muir, the son of Indiana Colts defensive tackle Daniel Muir, he was beat up by his mom and dad, according to his grandmother. He was beat up by his mom and dad, and now he has gone missing, and the parents are not cooperating with the police. They have lawyered up. All right. Okay, I hope you guys all have a wonderful Monday, and I'll keep an eye on this, and I'll be back tomorrow afternoon. We'll just keep an eye on it and see where it takes us. All right. Y'all have a great weekend. A great evening.